Hello, and welcome to this webinar entitled Roadmap to CNAMB Recertification. What do I need to know? Recertification is significant because the rapid rate of change in the modern perioperative setting requires a conscious effort for one to maintain competency. When an individual recertifies their CNAMB credential, he or she demonstrates a continued dedication to perioperative excellence, an ongoing commitment to specialized knowledge, and a personal commitment to patient safety. Recertification of the CNAMB credential recognizes the professional achievement of a certified nurse who chooses to maintain proficiency in the ambulatory role in the perioperative setting. All activities undertaken in the certification renewal process are designed to enhance the knowledge of the CNAMB certificate and improve the nurse's ability to function in the perioperative ambulatory setting. Now, before we get into recertification of the CNAMB credential, I want to take a moment and just introduce the education team at CCI. First, we have Dawn Whiteside. Dawn is our Director of Education and Professional Development. Of course, you see myself pictured there below Dawn on the screen. Also on our team is Kimberly Jones. Kimberly's our Manager of Education and Professional Development, as well as our LMS Coordinator. And also on our team is Samantha Hendrickson. Samantha is our Professional Development Associate. Now, it is important to also review this disclaimer. Because CCI is a certification organization, CCI has a role in developing and administering certification examinations to determine the qualifications of applicants for certification. As such, CCI does not require, nor do we endorse, any specific study guides, review products, or training courses. So what this means is applicants may prepare for certification exams with any educational materials that they choose. So the purchase of CCI review materials is not a requirement for testing, nor does the use of any review materials imply successful performance on any of our exams. However, with that being said, CCI does offer various study resources for our certification examinations, including an on-demand prep course, practice exams, and a study guide. But no study resources are prerequisites for any of our examinations. Now, let's look at our objectives for this webinar. First, we're going to review the eligibility requirements for recertification. Next, we'll describe the method to recertify the CNAMB credential. We'll follow this by outlining the steps in the recertification application process and conclude the webinar with a discussion on additional options for managing one's CNAMB credential. So looking at our first objective, reviewing the eligibility requirements for recertification of one's CNAMB credential. There's a couple of resources that we would highly recommend you review closely. First is our website at www.cc-institute.org, and look specifically at the CNAMB pages and recertification pages. There, you're going to find a link to the CNAMB Candidate Handbook. You should download this, review it closely, and refer to it often. This handbook's going to underscore a lot of the information that is going to be covered in this webinar, as give you some additional important information about your credential, as well as recertification and maintenance of that credential. So when we look at recertification, we're really looking at maintaining competency, that continued competence. As such, CCI has to ensure that it meets current and evolving standards established by accrediting organizations for the CNAMB credential. So purposes of ensuring competency, they include protecting the public, helping to advance the nursing profession, as well as to ensure the integrity of professional nursing. And continued competence is an integral component of this professional development. Continued competence is defined as the specified levels of knowledge, skills, or abilities, not only at the time of initial certification, but also throughout one's professional career. So, recertification applicants for the CNAMB, they need to meet eligibility requirements at the time of application. This includes holding an active CNAMB credential as well as a current unrestricted RN license. Additionally, they need to be currently full or part-time employed in an ambulatory surgery setting and have a minimum of 500 hours of experience per year in an eligible role in the perioperative setting. So this is a total of 1,500 hours during one's 3-year accrual cycle. Once you hold the CNAMB credential, there's not a requirement for those hours for that initial certification for working in an intraoperative area. So for your hours, it's a 3-year accrual period, 500 hours per year with a total of 1,500 hours in the ambulatory setting. Employment may be hospital-based. It could be freestanding or even a physician-owned facility. Roles could be clinical, educational, administrative, or even roles within research. An experience in a non-paid volunteer capacity is acceptable. Some of you may remember the self-reflection forms that were required prior for recertification. These are now voluntary, and they are made available for those who would like to complete them to assist them with their personal goals during the recertification period. It's important to note that eligibility requirements and the application, that information is subject to random audit, and there are no refunds on failed audits. So looking at your options for recertification, at the end of your 3-year cycle, you would apply for recertification. You have 3 options. 1, applying for recertification. Of course, this is using our professional points model, and you need 200 points within that 3-year accrual period. If you need a little more time to acquire those points, you can file for an extension year, or you can go emeritus and retire your credential if you're at that point in your career. It's important to note that one cannot apply for recertification until January 1st of their recertification year. So you have a 3-year accrual period, and then the following year is your recertification year when you will apply and pay your fees. So let's look at those accrual periods or windows for a moment. That accrual period is the time in which one must complete their recertification activities, earn their professional points, if you will. It begins on January 1st of the year that you became certified or you recertified, and it continues through December 31st of the 3rd calendar year. So for example, looking at the slide, if an individual obtained their CNAMB certification or were recertified on, say, May 1st of 2022, their accrual period would be January 1st of 2022 through December 31st of 2024. That means their recertification year, when they would apply, would be in 2025. They can do that as early as January 1st of 2025. One would certainly want to try to attempt to complete recertification before July 1st of their recertification year in order to take advantage of the early bird discount. But one would have until December 31st of that recertification year to submit their application. So it's important to make sure that you understand your accrual periods or windows and then your recertification year. Now, applications cannot be processed without payment, so all fees and/or outstanding debts to CCI must be paid by December 31st of one's recertification year. All fees are subject to change without notification, so you definitely want to check our website for current pricing. But as of the time of this recording, you can see that the recertification fee for CNAMB with the points methodology is $275. Of course, with an early bird discount between January 1st and June 30th of one's recertification year, that fee becomes $235. The cost of an extension year is 245. That gives you that additional year to earn and accrue your points. Of course, at the conclusion then, when you recertify, you would pay your full recertification fee in addition to that extension year. And then, of course, the emeritus fee is currently $175. The discount of $40 for recertifications between January 1st and June 30th will automatically apply at checkout. So that full recert fee is going to show in your cart until you actually get to checkout. Additionally, there's a $40 discount available for those who hold an active CCI credential outside of the one they're recertifying. So for example, if you hold CNOR as well, but discounts cannot be combined and only one discount would be utilized per transaction. So you can't do early bird and dual credential at the same time. There are no refunds of an initial or recertification application. Again, so if there is any issues with the audit or a failed audit, there are no refunds on an individual's fee. Recertification candidates may submit that online application starting January 1st of the year they are due to recertify. Okay, so an important reminder, if you already have a CCI account, definitely access through that account. If you can't get into your account or you don't remember your login or password, simply reach out to our credentialing team at info@cc-institute.org so they can get you back into your account, but please do not create a second account. Now, let's look at our method, professional points method, if you will, to recertify your CNAMB credential. Now, you have a great visual here on the screen. This is also on our website as far as the steps to recertification. So first, of course, you're going to confirm your eligibility. Second, you're going to want to make sure that you meet the professional activities requirement during that accrual period and that you've logged the points that you've earned. Confirming that all of your 200 points are completed and logged into your account. And then, of course, you'll pay your recertification fee, and then your next 3-year certification cycle begins. So, recertification by professional activity points. The CNAMB recertification is recognized for 3 years, with recertification required to retain the credential at the conclusion of that period. The rapid pace of change and increased complexity of technology in healthcare requires that conscious effort to maintain competency. The required CNAMB recertification activities align with the task and knowledge statements of the current job analysis. Recertification requirements guide professional development activities and provide parameters for acceptable practice, and also serve to maintain a link to the most current body of knowledge. Correlating the certification period with the job analysis cycle ensures that certificates are engaged in activities pertinent to their professional development. And we are at CCI are routinely conducting job analysis to ensure and maintain accreditation of our certification programs and that they reflect current best practice. Competency consists of knowledge and skills and attitudes necessary to function in each situation safely and independently. The CNAMB recertification process acknowledges the need for active work to maintain continued competency. So the practice and professional activity requirements really facilitate the maintenance of current skills, the acquisition of new skills through exposure to the practice setting, and then, of course, planned, purposeful learning activities guided by reflective learning. So the points requirement for CNAMB are 200 points. And there's a variety of ways you can earn those points. There's all types of professional points activities. For a complete detail list of professional activities and points, you can review the CNAMB Candidate Handbook, which I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar. As you can see in the upper left-hand corner, academic study is one way to earn professional points. This is the only category that is unlimited in the number of points one can earn. Other activities have limits. So for example, case studies. Case studies, which are available in the CCI store and are free, a free purchase. These are worth 50 points apiece, but this category has a maximum limit. So one would only in their cycle only do 2 of these worth 50 points apiece, but that would give them 100 of the 200 points needed. So as your partner in recertification, CCI offers resources to simplify the process of completing your professional activity. So make sure that you visit the CCI store and look for those free educational activities that are worth points towards your recertification requirements. CCI also has a recertification guide, which helps you with understanding all of the various options, the maximums, also helps you create a log of all your professional activities that can earn you points. This current guide is under revision at this time of this recording, but certainly look for that on our website in the near future. Now, the steps in the recertification application process, right? Now, it's important to remember we've reviewed the eligibility requirements, but there are no refunds on failed audits. So first, you're going to access your CCI account. Again, go to www.cc-institute.org and log in. If you don't remember your username or password, click on Forgot Password. But it's important to not make a second account. So if you're unable to get into your account, do reach out to our cred team at cc-institute.org. Again, that's info@cc-institute.org, and they will get you into your account right away. And it's also important to not wait until the last minute to start one's recertification process. So you will go to our homepage. You see an image of that here. You will click on My Account. And then, of course, log in to your account. Again, do not create multiple accounts. Once you're into your account, you'll see a page that looks similar to this, but if you hold the CNAMB credential, you will see it listed across that blue bar as well. So you will click on My CNAMB, and this will direct you to the related information. Now, your accrual period that we mentioned, that will show there on your dashboard. You will also see when your recertification is available for your CNAMB certification. You will see at the bottom where you will need to verify your RN license, your professional points or your continuing education, your experience, and then of course pay your fees. Again, you will not be able to submit and pay your fees until your recertification year. Working on things before that time, you will want to make sure that you get to where you have a thumbs up across the board. You can see on this individual for their CNOR recertification that they have successfully uploaded their RN license. They have also indicated their work experience, and they are in the process of continuing to work on their continuing education. Now, for logging points, right? You can have contact hours. Each contact hour is worth 2 points. The maximum is 50 contact hours for 100 points. So you can see there at the bottom with the green arrow where you can report points once you're under your continuing education tab. So here's an example of points that were added to this individual's account. The first 2 you can see there were added by the nurse. This activity requires that information be added, like the committee's name, the individual's role, the length of time they were on the committee. The other points here were automatically added from the nurse's classroom, from their CCI classroom. All those points activities are free, again, in our store. It is not required that you use our activities, but it is a free option available to you. And of course, nurses have the option of importing their contact hours from the AORN website as well. Here you can see where you can report the various points or contact hours. Again, contact hours are limited, but each contact hour is worth 2 points. You can also see where this individual has submitted some points in relation to their academic study, which of course is unlimited. There is also where this individual, it appears, taught a perioperative related course for college credit and earned points for that. And it looks like this individual also has published. Now, some tips for success, right? You want to review your professional accomplishments and really make a recertification plan. The interesting thing about the points methodology is there's probably a lot of things that you are doing in your professional practice where you're going to be able to earn professional points for that. For example, serving on, say, the infection control committee, offering an educational in-service or educational activity at your facility, precepting, and there's a variety of other ways as well, not to mention the various free activities that are available on our store if you so choose to use those options. For those that need to recertify in 2024, you want to submit your application before your certification lapses on December 31st of this year. For those who are recertifying in 2025, you do not have to have entered all your points by the end of this year. You just need to have earned them. However, it's probably best practice to start entering those as you go along so you don't inadvertently miss any activities, and that you also know that you are set up for success in earning those within that allotted accrual period. And share information about recertification with your CNAMB colleagues so they can be successful on this journey as well. Now, I mentioned audits. CCI does randomly select a percentage of recertification applications for audit. And if there's reason to believe there's been a breach in the integrity of the process by maybe an individual seeking recertification, CCI may also select those individuals for audit. Applicants selected for audit will be notified by CCI and required to submit additional documentation within 30 days of that notification. After our credentialing team reviews the documents, an email is sent to the applicant detailing the results of that audit. Timely attention to request for the audit is important because delay in submission of documentation or submitting incomplete documentation could result in a shortened testing window or delay one's recertification process. And Appendix B of that handbook that I mentioned outlines the specific requirements for an application under audit. Failure to comply with recertification audit requirements or by the 30-day deadline or to successfully pass the audit would terminate one's application, and no refunds of that application fee will be provided to applicants that are not successful on audit. There are no refunds on failed audits. So if you are audited and you do need to verify your various activities, it's important to kind of keep all those documents accessible. You can certainly go ahead and upload those into your CCI account, or you may choose to keep those on your computer or a flash drive. Some people have even suggested it's helpful for them to email those important things to themselves. That way they're in a cloud system, hopefully, in case there is a computer crash or glitch or something like that. But make sure that you keep up with your activities and the documentation in case you are audited. Now, before we conclude, let's look at some additional options for managing one's CNAMB credential. I mentioned the extension year. This is for active CNAMBs who are unable to complete their professional activities during that 3-year accrual period. If this is the case, an individual may apply for a 1-year extension that will allow him or her an additional year to complete those activities. Applying for an extension year can be accomplished by logging into one's account and completing that online application. It does provide that person an additional year to earn points. However, it's important to note that this option is available once every 2 recertification cycles, so only once every 6 years. And you have to apply in the year that you are due to recertify. So if you are recertifying in 2024, if that's your accrual period, and your points need to be accrued through the end of 2024, and then you would recertify again in 2025. So if this is your year to recertify and you see that you have not accrued all of the points you need, you can pay the extension fee. You will have through the end of this year to accrue your points and contact hours, and then your recertification year would start on 2025. You can continue to use your credential during that extension year. Again, the current fee for an extension is $245, and then of course, on your recertification year, your new recertification year, you would pay the recertification fee. And then there's emeritus. Retiring or ineligible perioperative nurses may preserve their credential by submitting a one-time fee for emeritus status. And what this does is it entitles the nurse to use the designation CNAMB parentheses E in parentheses. You can apply for this status by logging into your CCI account and completing the online application. So it's really about retiring your credential, and it is a one-time online application and fee, currently at $175. You can apply for emeritus anytime while your credential is active. However, be sure that you are truly ready to retire your credential, because the only way to return to an active credential is by taking the exam. So we always encourage folks to be sure that they truly are ready to retire and will not need that credential, or if they're changing positions, to make sure that their new position will not require that active certification. If you have any questions, we encourage you to reach out to our credentialing experts. They are ready and willing to assist you with any of your needs related to CNAMB recertification. And then, of course, you can also reach out to any of us on CCI's education team. We are here to partner with you and help you to achieve your professional goals. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Best of luck on your recertification journey.